Philip, thank you for that introduction and everything. And I couldn't tell if you said fortunately or unfortunately, but I guess we'll kind of see how the night goes to
Fortunately.
determine uh, whether this is a fortunate one or not. But thanks again for that, Philip, introduction. And like Philip said, tonight's talk that I've got kind of set up here is called Imposter Emails. Kind of description I have for it is scamming the scammers. Again, whatever legal allows you to do, basically. And I'll get to that, what that means towards the end of my first story. But let's do the introductions as typically. Well, now my clicker doesn't want to work, so we will do this. There. All right. So who am I? First and foremost, I am a father and a husband. I continue to call myself a student because I love learning new things. I love absorbing new knowledge and just having fun. I'm a mentor for several different organizations, one of them being Cyberary. If you want to talk, we can talk. I'll share my experience with you. Also, a volunteer storm spotter, which kind of gets exciting this time of year with COVID-19. Storm spotters are also social distancing themselves, which is kind of funny. And I'm a volunteer first responder as well. And I'm a certified ethical hacker. And I call myself an OSINT junkie just because I love anything open source. And that really stems from my background in education, working for public ISDs where you had no funding. You had to find open source tools to do things. And when it comes to open source intelligence, kind of falls in line as well. I love finding new tools that allow me to go out there and scrape things, or just in general, just find interesting content whenever I can find it. So we will get right to this. My first question, and I wish we had an audience, and you can answer this if you want to, it doesn't really matter. But my first question is, what are imposter emails? These definitions came directly from Proofpoint because I didn't want to make up my own definitions. I just cheated and used somebody else's, but I also sourced them down below, so it's legal. So you can see the four types that we kind of see most of the time are the spoof names. A reply to spoofing means that basically the from field and the reply to are completely different emails in most cases. A lookalike domain, I think you can all kind of figure what that looks like. And a spoof sender as well. So some of the two big things we kind of key in on, or at least what I key in on for the company I work for, which I think you all know is Sally Beauty, is imposter email topics, which tend to be these four are the kind of the most, these are the ones that we see the most of. So whether it's a wire transfer, they just say urgent, greeting, direct deposit. And there are targets that we typically see are CEOs, CFOs. And when I say targets, in most cases, they're pretending to be these individuals. Or they're trying to target someone in human resources or payroll to say, hey, can you change my direct deposit? Or they want the accounts payable to people to pay an invoice for a vendor that we may not even do any work with. Or it may be a vendor that's been compromised and they're also trying to, squeeze themselves in there at the end of the month to get a payment going. So that was a very quick overview of what imposter emails are. I'm going to get right to just like the having fun part, because I think this is what everyone's here for, but I wanted to lead with the education part because, hey, we're Pwn School, right? So here are some of the tools that I use for the little adventure that we're going to go on. Anyone that's not familiar with Canary tokens, I would say go visit their link, read their documentation, and just understand what they do and how they do it. That's why I have that little reminder at the bottom there. In the middle, actually, it says, use at your own risk and be responsible. Again, with any of the things that we do as pen testers, as security analysts, engineers, red teamers, blue teams, whatever it is, be responsible. Make sure you're following ethical type things, so to speak, when you're doing these things. I put Bitly in there just because it allows me to somewhat obfuscate the links that are getting generated with Canary tokens because they legitimately say Canary token in them. So if someone knows what a canary token is and sees that URL, they know what you're doing. This gives me the way to kind of hide it a little bit. Doesn't mean they can't deobfuscate it and take it to a site and see what the true URL is. Uh, I'm not necessarily trying to be so hidden here. And then Shellfish is another cool tool that again, open source tool that I like to play around with because it allows you to create different fake login pages for all the different social media sites, Netflix, Microsoft, GitHub, all these different sites. And it even gives you the ability to do a custom one, which is kind of nice when you want to do like hey, over here is the gift card request form. You need to go log in to do this. All right, so we're going to get right to it. If anyone has seen James Feach ever, you're going to see a very similar format to this, which is basically the text coming in from left and right. I didn't know of another way to do this without making it just a screenshot of all the text and being boring. So we're going to kind of fly through this a little bit, hopefully not too fast. So this particular incident started off in an email. And the email basically said, hey, are you in the office? Can you send me your cell phone number so I can contact you right away? It's urgent. So I created a Google Voice number and said, hey, here's my number. It didn't take long before I got this text asking me if I was in the office. I didn't want them to think that I was in the office. So I said, basically, not at the moment. I'm not running errands because I know what's going to happen here. And typically the way these things happen is they're going to ask you to go out and get gift cards or something else. So my response, their response here, they're actually on a conference call. Okay, cool. You're busy. You need my help. So I'm going to say, how can I help? You know, I'm going to be friendly about this. And this is going to be a kind of a slow process for it, but this is where it kind of got interesting because they always typically try to find a way to say, hey, I want to be generous, or I want to reward the staff, or I want to buy this to reward one of our vendors for doing a good job for us this year, these kind of things. And a lot of these individuals tend to be playing as a CEO or a CFO in this particular scenario. So they want me to go out and get some Steam Wallet cards and some Google Play cards right away. So, all right. I responded back with this one because I thought it was kind of funny, which was the Steam cards I thought were a great idea for the kids, or at least the ones that do have kids. So I focused on the Steam cards initially, and what we got back was, yes, that's my plan for the kids. So as you can see, right now they're asking for 7 $50 Steam cards and 60 $50 Google Play cards. Not a lot, but you know, that adds up when you do this 4 or 5 times in a day. So what I asked them to do is I asked them to fill out the gift card request form. And if you recall, when I mentioned Shellfish, there's the option for number 19, which allows you to create your own custom form. So I created my own custom form, called it gift card request form, filled it out, hey, make these purchases. But the other thing I did was I created a Google form at the same time to send them a link to a dead form because I wanted them to say, click it, nothing loads up. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. Here's another one. Click on this one. This one should work. Kind of reeling them in a little bit here. So as you can see, here are the 2 links that I sent them. I sent one Google form, reminding them, again, this is for the kids. And that second link I sent was a bit.ly link, which is basically a canary token at this point. I created a canary token for this one because I wanted to get a little bit of information from them. But I also have another form that you'll see here in a second. Remember, I think it's on here. Oh, yeah. So this was interesting. When I sent this on the 10th, as you see there, the timestamp, I didn't get a response back. So I kind of felt like I killed this one because usually if they don't respond back right away, they've lost interest. But then I realized and kind of started to think about this again. They're probably doing more than one scam at a time. So they are probably, like I said, a handful of scams, and you're just in their queue waiting for them. So again, crickets. 2 days later, I got a high. So I was like, okay, let's go. Still want the gift cards. They still do. This is good. So they didn't die. So this is good. I asked them if they fill out the form, which they told me they were unable to fill the form out, which the Google form I got, they're not going to get anything off of that. But my other link was a Selfish link. It was not a canary token. It actually was a Selfish link that I had set up for the custom gift card request form. So I was a little confused here. The reason I was confused is because when I went to go check my actual canary tokens again, because there was one embedded in one of the emails that I sent, I actually got a hit. So let me talk about the canary tokens a little bit, because I do it a few ways. When I respond to the emails that I get, I will send a canary token in the signature using like a 1x1 pixel. Marketers use this all the time when they email you to say, hey, did you get my email? They want to know if they've been opened. They want to know if they've been looked at. This is what I did with this canary token is I got a hit in Africa of all places, and it was actually Nigeria. So it's Lagos is actually a location. And this is a very common location for most of my hits. Now, could they be using a VPN and going somewhere else? Sure. But this was enough for me because it fits a profile for what I've collected so far and showing that most of my scammers are coming from this location when it comes to email or text messages. So they didn't want to fill out the form, which was okay, because they wanted to keep it a secret, and I completely understand. Wanted to be a surprise, and I'm completely okay with that. Let's keep it a secret. Let's keep it a surprise. But I had other plans. They wanted me to get these cards today, at least on the 12th here. So as I continue to try to think of things of what to say, how to respond, I thought, let me talk about the weather a little bit. And the reason I do this is I want to build up something that they can relate to. Everyone can relate to the weather. Everyone can relate to traffic. Everyone can relate to a lot of different things. But weather is one of those key things I think that a lot of people can relate to. And plus, I love the weather for storm spotting and chasing. So why not? Then they said the weather wasn't too friendly there. So I'm trying to figure out where these people are located. I know based on my clip that this says Lagos, but I still want to know because the number that they are texting from shows to be in Tennessee. So when I checked the weather in Tennessee on that particular day, I think they were having some bad weather. But I don't remember top of my head. But then I sent this picture to them. I thought it was kind of funny because I wanted to see if they could relate to this picture. And this is what it looks like outside right now. Scary, all that fun stuff. I'm being silly a little bit here, but they're still hanging on, which is good. Weather is nothing like that. So I know they're not dealing with bad weather right now, which is good. So I started getting a little goofy here and basically responded back with I miss the sun. Can you send me a pic of the sun so I could pretend to feel the warmth? Sometimes I might get a little too crazy with these responses, and I feel like I might end up losing these guys a little earlier than I want to. But they responded back actually fairly quickly. What was the timestamp on that last one? So it's actually 9:04. When you look at they didn't respond back for like, it's 1:00 now. So this is why I thought I had lost them again, but they were persistent, which was good because I was having fun at this point in time. So I wanted to know how much longer they were going to be in the office, and then I was trying to find out if I could get them to tell me what time it was, their current location. And maybe I'd get them to slip up a little bit, and not remember they're supposed to be in Tennessee and where they're really at. So I keep asking some of these reoccurring questions over and over again to see if I can get them to slip up eventually. I asked them to take a screenshot of their clock on their phone and send it to me that way so I could tell. Then they just told me, hey, it's 2:37. Okay, well, it's Tennessee. It's a number in Tennessee, 2:37. You see the timestamp that they sent at 1:37. I'll give them an hour. So I wanted to know again when they were going to leave the office, kind of see if they could relate to what time it was again. I kept that same kind of story kind of going. But then I also wanted to know, how do you want these cards? Because the cards are delivered in 3 different ways. Well, mainly one way. And the main way they typically tell you to send the cards is take a picture of the back of the cards with, the numbers all scratched off and send me the pen numbers and everything. Just send me a picture of the cards or write it down somewhere and then send me that, email that to me or send that in a text message, whatever. So I wanted to know how they wanted them. They were like, hey, I'll tell you what to do. Again, I got a little goofy again here and told them that I was new and that I just went through security training. They told us to beware of scams. I like to do this message here a lot, basically saying that I'm new or I don't understand the process to kind of see what the reaction is. Because, again, they're trying to prey on the weak. They're trying to prey on the people who don't really understand what's going on. So I'm playing a little coy here, I guess, so to speak. So the response was kind of funny, I thought, which was, yes, you are right. It's very essential. So at least I know they have my best interest at hand and they know security training is very important. So I think we have a trusting partnership here that we can kind of continue our relationship. So let's get to business. So I found some Google images that show me gift cards. People take these all the time. I've even taken some of my own as well. And so I use this to send over to them saying, here's what I see. What do you want? Again, their response was the $7 $50 Steam wallets and the $6 $50 Google Play cards. Well, if you look at the picture, there's no Steam wallet cards. There's Google Play cards, but not in the denomination they want. So let's play on that a little bit. So I don't see any $50 ones. Can you circle one of the ones and send it back to me? The reason I asked for this is I'm curious on how they're going to take the picture and circle it and send it back. Are they on a PC? Are they on a mobile device? Am I going to get a screenshot of something? How are they going to make that circle happen? Unfortunately, a lot of times, images through text and getting them back and forth, you may not get a lot of data off of. Not saying you can't, just saying from what I've seen so far, I haven't got a lot off. So they want me to take pictures of the cards there, all the cards. So I sent that one picture. Well, I was done with that store, so I was like, hey, I'm going to another store to see what they have because they didn't have everything that we needed there. All right, keep me posted. Cool. He's still hanging on. This is great. Finally made it to another store. Found some gift cards. Well, now we have some Google cards. Still no Steam cards. That's okay. But the value of the Google cards are only $25. They're not $50 ones. So, sounds great. So, again, I'm asking the circle because I'm just curious to see what happens. And a little bit, it's just to see how much I can pull this along, see if I can frustrate them a little bit. Because again, I'm new. I don't understand this process. I don't know what I'm doing here. Again, let's get $7 $50 Google Play cards now. And then he circled it, which was nice. So he circled that Google Play card. However, they weren't $50 Google Play cards. They're $25 ones. So how are we going to make up the other half? And I thought it was kind of funny. The circle looks very aggressive to me. So I felt some frustration as they were getting mad here, which is fine. So now we've changed. Now we're okay with the $7 $25 gift Google Play cards. Okay, so we've talked them down a little bit. Okay, so again, I'm getting serious, but I'm also getting a little funny here. So I asked them, since we originally were going to get the $50 cards, but now we're getting the $25 ones, if I could use the rest of the money to buy myself something. Why not? Sure. So now they're letting me buy two 25 gift cards for myself. This was kind of them. But they also want me to go back to the previous store that I was at before, air quotes, because I was never at the store. So this is where it kind of got a little funny, and I probably lost them a little bit, but I told them I was low on gas and that I needed them to send me some cash. I didn't know how this was going to work, but they told me I could take the money out of the funds that I has in my hand to go get these cards. But being a new person, I was like, wait a second. I'm not authorized to use this card that I have for gas. Only gift cards. Can you send me money somehow? And I was playing a little ignorant here and say, can you send money through a phone? Is that something we can do? Hey, do you have Cash App? I've never used Cash App, but I have a Cash App now for this very reason. But then I was like, you know what? I got to go. And the reason I had to go is because I was waiting for legal to give me permission to accept cash from this scammer. Even if it was $1. For me, that was a victory. But unfortunately, our legal department decided that they didn't want me to take any money. So this is going to end fairly quickly here because of legal. That's all it was. But they were getting a little upset, I could tell, saying, hey, what do you mean tomorrow? I let them go, but I got a text the next morning asking me if I had slept well. I did not sleep well because remember, I was worried about my car because my friend came and picked me up, and I left my car there because I had no gas. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling up to it anymore. So, I say that's the end here, but it's not. I do have another story, but I will pause for any questions that anyone may have at this point.
Nothing that I have yet. I've answered just one that was just chat related, but nothing regarding the topic so far.
Okay. So let's continue this other one because this one I thought was good, but had I been successful in legal actually allowing me, I felt like I was confident that I could have convinced this individual to send me some cash through Cash App. But maybe another day. So we'll move over to what I call my bonus shellfish. It's because it's another story, not necessarily as long, but I really utilize shellfish here a lot for this one.
And hey, Rick, before you jump into the next one, two things. One, you got some good comments on this is pretty entertaining, and they also asked, did you get any information back on the image that they aggressively circled for you?
I did not. When I went to look at it, it was scrubbed, and I'm thinking that's something that Google Voice might be doing on their end. Like a lot of social media sites will tend to scrub them photos when you upload them. I'm curious to see if Google Voice is actually doing this. I don't know enough about the back end if they actually are doing that. Most likely they are. But yeah, I did take the photo, downloaded it, looked at it, see if I could pull anything off of it. There was no really good details there, unfortunately.
Cool. Then you got more questions floating in, so I'm going to fire a couple more at you.
Yeah.
So Anonymous asked, as an individual, is this legal?
So this is one of those gray areas, I think, because you have a lot of, like James Veach, if you've ever watched any of his videos, he does this. He has done this. Not something that he does full time. There's a couple other YouTubers that I've watched that kind of do the same things. A lot of it's over the phone. You're not sending emails back and forth. But the information gathering aspect is probably one of those gray areas of how you're collecting it, what you're doing with it. I'm not doing anything necessarily nefarious with the data that I'm gathering. I'm not looking at the IP address, scanning it to see if there's anything else on that IP address, and maybe I can go hit one of their assets if they're on a desktop or a corporate network. I'm not doing anything with it other than collecting it and then building stats for my company on some of these imposter emails that we're seeing.
Okay. Quick one from Med. What communication medium were you messaging? I believe you said you were on a Google number with their chat system, right?
Yeah, it was Google Voice that I was utilizing for that. It's because I can go and grab a number really quickly, change the area code, change the locations fairly quickly with that. I need to do some more digging to see what types of attribution you can get from that. What I've done so far, I haven't seen a lot other than saying this is possibly a VoIP, Skype, or Google type number. Gives you location information, but since I'm choosing a number that's not directly my location, I can put that number anywhere I want based on area codes and prefixes and such.
Very cool. And then Dan wanted to know, what's the intended outcome you're looking for when going kind of back and forth with these people?
Mostly is wasting their time. That's kind of my big agenda there. But the initial thing that I'm after is just understanding where they're from. What are they trying to get out of us? Is because you'll get a lot of these, you'll get them. They won't have a good enough story in the email. They'll just say, hey, contact me. Well, what are they after? Some of these end up being paid invoices, some of them being gift cards. So I take that data that I get. Hey, it's a gift card. Let me log it. Hey, their IP from the token I sent or the form they filled out, that was based on this IP address and this location. So I basically take those stats and we report those up to our board saying, here's where some of our imposters are coming from. And it's kind of one of those whiz bang, so to speak, stats that, I mean, there's probably not a lot of value out of it, but it does give us some insight into some of our imposter emails or potential attackers from an attribution standpoint.
Cool. And last question, then you can move on to your next one. Audra asked, using the forms you sent back, is it possible to send SQL injections? And also, have you found spoofed emails are not DMARC compliant?
So a lot of the emails I've seen come across, first let me answer the other question. The first question was the SQL injection. I don't know. I've not done a lot of testing with the Google Forms to see if there is something there, possibly. I don't know to answer that question. But as far as the emails themselves,
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah. As far as the emails themselves, DMARC compliant? No, a lot of the emails that I've seen are not DMARC compliant. They may have an SPF record. They're not typically following DKIM, so they won't be DMARC. But what I also have seen and noticed is that depending on the virtual servers, you know, your VPSs out there in the world, and if you're standing up email and using email records, whatever IP address you have received, if that IP has ever been used anywhere else and there's DNS records tied to it, potentially like a shared IP for, you know, websites, things of that nature, I've seen some of those IP addresses with DNS records, the text records that actually have other SPF records inside them, allowing the attackers to bypass SPF checks, allowing them to bypass some of your email proxies, which is something new to me. I've been digging into this a little bit more as I go along to kind of understand the full scope of why am I seeing DNS records that belong to this IP address that belong to someone else. And it's usually because it's a shared IP space.
Excellent. I think that's good for now.
Okay, so Shellfish. As I mentioned earlier, open source tool allows you to create different types of forms, social media forms, Microsoft login pages, Google login pages, your own custom one. It's kind of cool. If you haven't played around with it, I would say at least take a look at it, play around with it, use at your own risk and your own responsibility. Um, Always stay legal, right? Or something. There's a motto or something out there about that. So I got another email asking me for my phone number. Okay, here you go. Here's your phone number. I got a text message not too long after if I could get them. $100 or 50 iTunes cards. So I was a little confused there. It was $50, $100. Anyway, we'll move on. So I responded back with, "Is this Steven?" And this kind of throws them off sometimes because I knew it wasn't Steven. I mean, it could be Steven. Who knows? Who's Steven? Well, who is Steven? I have to make up a story real quick here. So thought you were Steven. I bought gift cards from him in the past. He gave me 50% cut of the profits. So now I'm kind of switching my gameplay a little bit. I'm not trying to be the coy, ignorant, first day on the job person. I'm actually someone who's a little seasoned here. And you know what? Let's see where this takes us. This is all for fun, right? And science or something. Okay. Can you give me 100? Okay. I thought they were going to run away. Depends. What's my cut in this operation? Again, I'm having fun here. 10%? I thought 10% was kind of low, to be honest, because, for one, I'm doing all the work here, right? I've got to go out and get the gift cards and all this fun stuff. So I thought 10% was kind of low. And then he asked me, how much? How many do you do for Steven? The last deal was 20 cards at 100 face value. But I'm thinking we aim higher. And I cannot do this for any less than 60%. I didn't think they were going to bite here. But, so you want it to be 60-40. Why, yes. I mean, after all, again, I'm taking all the risk, right? I should be entitled to a bigger cut. You can make it 300. We can do 50-50. I think I could do 50-50. I mean, I like 60-40, but 50-50 sounds good too. Okay, still think we should be aiming higher. But if we're going to continue, we're going to use code words. From now on, I want my name to be Kitty Boo Boo. He never calls me Kitty Boo Boo. I was a little upset about that. But then now the gift cards are going to call those Oreos. Okay. Call me Jay. How soon can you get me the Oreos so we can make this fast cash? How many Oreos do you think you can get me? So I thought it was I had a good chuckle here, and some of my team members as well, as we kind of go into this whole, which is kind of funny. So I decided we were going to call the profit or the money now cream filling, because Oreos, cream filling, it just sounds like it goes together, right? Okay. Again, they were on board for this, which I thought was kind of funny. How soon you can get them? How many? I mean, I can get as many Oreos as I can in my hand, that I can hold in my hand. So we can make so much cream filling. I'm laughing now. I'm pausing because I'm trying not to laugh here because this cracks me up every time I read it. Okay, let's start with 10 Oreos, 100 each cream filling. Was $300 before. It's 10 Oreos now, so 10 gift cards at $100 value. Yeah, there's math in there somewhere. And then this, how soon Istanbul going to? I think he was basically saying, how soon can you? I don't know, but he's sticking to the keywords, which is good. So we're getting the Oreos. I think we need a contract to continue. Jay, are you okay with this, having a contract? Because without a contract, we can't be serious, right? We can't be in business on a contract. We all know that. Yes, let's at least create trust in each other. I wasn't expecting that response because typically when I ask them for, can you fill this out? Can you sign a contract? Can you do this? I usually get go away or why do I need to do this? This is silly, those kind of things. So, hey, contract. All right. I sent him a document. This document was selfish. It was a custom document, but I had it set up for Gmail for a login page because that's where I store all my documents. That's where, share drive, all that fun stuff. There's nothing there. All I see is Gmail. Well, obviously, because it's not a working login page. You put stuff in it, you click the button, nothing really happens. It just sends them right back to the login page again. So it just keeps looping back and forth. But as it does that, it does collect the data they send. So you have to log in to see the data. So as you can see, I got a click and I got an account and password, which was amazing, I thought. So I did go back and check this email account out to see if it had been on any pwned site, and if it like haven't been pwned or Ghost Project or dehashed to see if this particular email had been leaked. As most emails and most Hotmails, it's definitely been leaked several times. And that password that I obfuscated there was actually the real password to one of the leaks that had happened. I didn't go beyond testing it or anything, so because that would take me to the next level. That's getting out of the gray area, going into the darker side, and probably doing something I shouldn't be doing. And plus, legal didn't want me to do it again, so I asked because you have to ask. So this response I got after they had sent me their password, which was, "Do you believe in God?" So I had a struggle with this for a little bit because I didn't know how to respond to this initially. So Papa Shell helped me out a little bit. He's got a good background as well. He'd make an interesting story on how he got to where he's at today. But so he asked to basically what he recommended to me was go find some song lyrics and kind of reply back with those, which was amazing because I wasn't thinking about it. I was just too excited that they gave me a password earlier. So if you've ever heard the song, Do You Believe in Magic? And yeah, that was my first line that I replied back to them. And then I'll tell you about the magic. It'll free your soul, which is another line of the song itself. And I don't know if that's copyright issue. Whatever. We'll continue. Are you ready for business or are you just playing a game? Well, a little bit of both, right? Because wasting your time playing a game. Yeah, let's get to business. All right, Jay. I'm all about the cream filling. Did you log in and grab the document for review? I knew they did already, but I thought it was kind of funny. And I do like the cream filling. Not an actual picture of something that I've done, but that looks amazing because look at all that cream filling. You talk too much. Let's get this done. Okay. I do apologize, Jay. We have to be serious about this. Okay. How many Oreos and how much cream filling are we talking about, Jay? They didn't respond for a little bit, so I thought I had lost them. But here we are. 10 Oreos, 100 each. Creaming filling? I think they meant cream filling there. And how soon can I get them for you? So what I did, this next image, I was hungry. We were talking about Oreos, cream filling. So I sent this picture talking about all the Oreos, the triple stuff, the double stuff. Which ones do you want? I don't think they liked it too well. But again, I'm kidding. Snap the real Oreos, not the I think I meant fake ones here. That you snapped to me. I think I have them a little frustrated here, which is kind of funny. And I apologize. I'm sorry. All this talk about cream Oreos and cream filling got me a little confused and hungry. Okay, they're back again. They know we're kidding. We're gonna get serious again, right? Okay, let's get serious. Can you send me a picture of the type of card you want? You said you've done this before. He's right. Because when we first started this conversation, I had been working with Steven about getting cards and stuff. So he kind of caught me here. But I buy Oreos all the time. They didn't like this. This is a response. I obfuscated it out. Don't know if there's any kids watching. But I got a good response out of it. And I got a good chuckle out of this too. I don't play games when it comes to making money. We're going to work together. We have to keep to the code words. Use money and not cream filling. So this is actually the end of my talk. But not really, because I do have some other stories that I do want to tell about some of the things I've been doing with this and some of the other incidences and cases that have been opened and closed based on these things. So I think what I'll do with this is kind of, maybe there might be potential fire talks with Pwn School where I'll kind of go through this really quick kind of scenario of a case or two that I've actually done. I'm hoping that I get to kind of continue these things. And my company seems value in them. If not, well, I'll probably do it anyways. But we'll see. So,
forget fire talks. You're already getting people asking for a sequel. So you just have to save these up and do another talk.
There you go.
I don't think there was any other questions I saw. If you guys want some questions asked, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat. There was one asked about how you got the password. I went ahead and answered that for you. That it was filled out with the email and password using your Shellfish form. And I did earlier in the chat. I linked Shellfish GitHub repo as well as Canary tokens. I don't know if there's any other resources you want me to link to them, but
not really. I mean, right now I've got some other ones that I'll probably go through with some of the fire talks, maybe with some of the other incidences where I've used Canary tokens in different formats. Most of the Canary tokens that I used here were all links, but I have created some with Word documents, PDFs, and different flavors, as well as my own like direct deposit forms, because it's really nice when people write and fill out the deposit forms in their own handwriting. It gives you kind of a good idea of who you're dealing with, whether it be male or female. Most cases, most males don't typically have good handwriting. Not knocking on any males that do have good handwriting, but most of them don't. And you can kind of tell when they do the filling of the forms out by hand and the signatures. It's really nice to kind of see that.
Someone addressed you as, this is anonymous, addressed you as Kitty Boo Boo and would like to know if you believe in magic. I'm going to go ahead and answer that one for him, though.
I got to come up with other names, too, that these guys can call me and see if I can get any of them to refer to me as these names. We'll see.
I almost asked Phil's question, and then I noticed it was a joke, and it was from Phil. Oh, man. Well, cool. You got a ton of great laughs. I'm over here cracking up, and a bunch of people busting out laughing at the right moments in the chat. I wish we were all in a big room sharing the coronavirus together so we could hear all the laughter. But definitely good stuff. You got someone crying over here, said they definitely want another sequel.
That's good. I'm hoping that, it kind of sucks that we weren't able to do this in person, because I really wanted to kind of get the audience's feedback there, but it's good to see that people like them. And I'll do some more of these, probably as fire talks, like I mentioned, at the start of some of the Pwn School meetings, or just catch me, and if I have a story, maybe I'll tell it.
Awesome talk, Rick. Thanks for giving it. And just curious, did you stock up on cookies to ride out the coronavirus?
I do have a couple of bags of Oreos over there, because I do like Oreos, to be honest. So calling these gift cards Oreos was actually great, because I do like Oreos.
You like the regular or the double stuff?
I'm afraid of how you're going to respond after I answer that question, so I'm going to deny any response.
That's good.
All right, that's all I got.
Well, thanks again. Great talk.